Let's move to Texas, and if we're going to do that, let's talk to Letitia Wilkerson at Letitia Wilkerson Real Estate. Hello, Letitia.
Hello,
How are you today?
I'm great. And yourself?
I'm doing just terrific. Thank you so much for asking. So let's talk a little bit about Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. If I'm being perfectly honest about it, I've been to Dallas a couple of times, but it was for conventions, and you know as well as I do, in that environment, you really don't get out of the downtown area. Let's talk about what it's like living in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex.
Well, I actually love living here, and obviously a lot of other people do too, because I believe in the last, say, 4 years, there's over 3 million people have moved to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it's getting a little crowded here. I've relocated several people in that length of time.
Do you think COVID had anything to do with sort of the population shift coming your way?
Well, I think at first it was because the cost of living was very reasonable.
Mhm.
But because of those moves and people coming from the East Coast and the West Coast, where property is much more expensive, they came and made the prices go up. And
So,
so we're not as affordable as we used to be.
so would you call it a buyer's market or a seller's market these days?
Right now, I'm going to say it's more of a buyer's market.
What's the average time that some of your properties are staying on the market?
Anywhere from 45 to 90 days.
And you mentioned the economy of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Talk a little bit about that these days, the cost of living, and how are things going in the marketplace?
Well, the economy is pretty good because everywhere you go, they are hiring. So there's plenty of jobs here. Housing market, price point, they're not going back to the price point it was before 2020, but they're not rising like they were in 2022. 2021, 2022, there were people that had bought a house, say in 2019, that sold in 2022 and made $150,000 off those houses. That's just how high they went up in a very short period of time. So it's made it a little bit difficult, especially since the interest rates came up. And the interest rates being as low as they were then had a big impact on the price point as well. So now that the interest rates have went up, prices have stopped going up. Actually, what you could get for a house 2 years ago, you can't get that same price point right now. Builders here are giving incredible incentives. I mean, anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000, buying down interest rates, dropping price points right now. I've had so many people get some amazing deals in the last couple of months. It's unbelievable.
And since you brought it up, let's talk a little bit about whether the houses that are on the market these days are new build or if they are already pre-owned homes.
Well, the new builds and the builders are giving the pre-existing owners a run for their money right now because they can offer so much as far as the incentives that regular homeowners can't offer. Because depending on what their situation is, they may not have enough equity in it to offer what the builders are offering. So, for example, you got a builder that has dropped their prices and they're offering 20,000, 25,000 in incentives to go, and you can use it however you want to use it. Where a pre-existing homeowner can't do that. So, of course, the pre-existing homes are staying on the market longer than the builders, the new builds.
And I know as a full-service realtor that every buyer is different and every seller is different. And until you spend some time talking to them about what it is they're attempting to do, you can't, really be very, very specific. But in general terms these days, what are you seeing for trends in what buyers are looking for in Texas?
They're looking for affordability, for one thing. So a lot of people are, I'm going to wait till that interest rate drop. And it's never going back to where it was 3 years ago. It'll never happen again. 2 and 3% interest rates, never. However, we've been in the sevens. Last year, we were like over a point higher than we are right now. So it is a little bit more affordable. And the homes have become more affordable because the appreciation has stopped. Like what we seen happen 2 or 3 years ago is not currently going on. Um, but at the same time, it's a lot of they just can't afford these interest rates in those notes right now.
But the reality is, and you said it yourself, nothing is going to go back to those prices of a few years ago.
Nothing. And so what I've been doing on my end, and so I'm going to do what's best for my client. And right now, what has been best for them and has worked for me is to take them to the new builds, to get inventory homes, not necessarily building from the ground up, but homes that are brand new that the builder has already built, because they're offering such amazing incentives that the pre-existing just can't compete. Now, if you have a pre-existing house on the market right now, they need to step with their best. I'm telling clients that are coming to me, be prepared to pay some kind of closing costs, be able to offer the buyer something, or else your house is going to sit on the market. It's proven to be true. It's unfortunate, it's very unfortunate because there are people out here that are having issues or having problems because everything is expensive. And the property taxes here in Texas is an issue as well. So I try to guide my people to what's going to work best for them. I'm getting them interest rates buy downs to make their monthly note more affordable. And that's what I really, really try to do, because that's what's important to people, that monthly bill, that monthly note. So whatever I can do in my expertise is to get them some money paid from the sellers so that they can either buy their rate down or they can save money in their pocket by not having to bring $20,000 to the closing table. So I have to adjust to whatever the market is issuing us at that time.
Are there any particular places or pockets of new build homes that you're sort of concentrating on these days?
Oh my God, they're everywhere. Texas is growing so fast. All the little towns are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So this kind of depends on the client. If they work from home, which a lot of people do these days, they're not as cautious as where they need to be. They're going to go where the price is best and things like that. But I do have those people that are still driving into work. The traffic with the 3 million more people that have moved to the area in the last few years has made people way more cautious of where they're living as to where they work. It didn't used to be that way. It was like, okay, as long as it's a 30-minute, no more than 45-minute ride, we're good. Well, now those 30-minute rides have turned into hour rides. So people are way more cautious of where they're living. But the further out you go, the least expensive the home is.
So what are some of the outlying areas and towns that you'd be recommending these days?
I would go like Ennis, Ferris. If you're going out east, there's Rockwall, there's Forney, there's Crandall. If you want to go out north, there's several different cities out that way. Just a little small, used to be small, but they're growing because builders are building up all of those areas and they're making them less expensive to live in. So it's pushing people further out. You got those people that want to be in the city. They're is trying to educate them on most major cities. The closer you get to downtown, the more expensive it's going to be.
How about your best advice for first-time home buyers?
I try to get them in the situation, make sure that you have some money saved, make sure that you get your credit to the highest capacity that you can. Work on that. Put some money up so that you don't feel overwhelmed, because you're going from, rent where it's somebody else's responsibility, because there is things that, come up on a home that you can't call anybody to come fix anymore. That's going to be your responsibility. So I just like them to be in a better position to know, have your credit good so you can get the best possible interest rate you can. Save some money so that you just not house poor when you first get out there. But there is a few programs that are out here that can kind of help with your down payment assistance and things like that. But I like to educate them on a lot of things. Make sure that you get your homesteads in place, because I've had clients that come back to me 3 years later. They never filed their homestead. Well, you done wasted a lot of money, because that's going to help with your monthly mortgage, the amount of money that you're paying in taxes. Basically just trying to educate them on the responsibility of being a homeowner.
Can you explain a little bit more about those homesteads?
The homestead is when that house is where you first say that's where I'm going to lay my head. This is where I call home. So in the state of Texas, you get a discount when you file a homestead on a property, and it decreased the amount of property taxes that you're paying.
Without filing that homestead, you'd be paying more in taxes?
You're paying more in taxes if you do not file that homestead.
And that's probably not something that a first-time buyer would know all on their own, is it?
No. Well, I try to make sure everybody that walks away from that closing table, if I'm representing you, you know about it. But it seems like people get brain fogs after that day for whatever reason. And then they call me, but I'm always here to assist people, whether it be 2-3 years or however long ago. If you have questions, I don't mind answering them. But I make sure that everybody walk away from that table knowing you need to file a homestead. And you used to have to wait till the first of the year. Now you can file them as soon as you get that driver's license, that address on your driver's license changed to that home that you're considering your homestead. Once you get that driver's license change, you immediately file your homestead and it will go into effect. As soon as you file it with whatever county at the appraisal districts, whatever county that your home is in, as soon as you do that, they're going to reach out to the mortgage company. They're going to show them where your property taxes have been decreased because you have filed your homestead. So it can save you anywhere from 100 to 250, just depending on what price point and what your taxes are. But that's, in the long run, you're saving a lot of money.
And you'll get those property tax savings every year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Until you buy another home or put your homestead on another home. You can only have one home that has a homestead. If you have multiple properties, the only one that you'll get a homestead on is the one you live in. You will pay regular taxes on any investment properties or anything like that.
And with all the people moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, what's your best advice these days for people that are in the market to sell their homes?
Right now, this market, you better put your best foot forward. I'm going to say declutter, try to make any kind of necessary repairs that you knowingly know of. If you want to paint, things like that, unless you are planning or you're good with taking a decrease in price point from what your market value is. But if you're trying to get market value for your home, I would say make it look like you would want it to look if you were buying a house.
And how about for somebody who's looking for some investment property? What's your best advice to them these days?
Call me. Because I do a lot of that as well. A lot. I do some off-property marketing, homes and stuff like that people just don't want to be bothered, trying to repair anything. They don't want to repair anything. They're not going to get market value, but they need to get what they can get and go. Call me. Now, you do get some of those on MLS that people have actually put out there, but you're going to probably have, if it's a good deal, you're going to have multiple offers, and you're going to be fighting against everybody else. But I would say call me because I can get you around all that.
Let's talk a little bit about folks that are considering moving to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. What other than call you, which we know is good advice, what other advice would you have for someone that maybe has never been to DFW at all and maybe for work or family reasons is considering moving to the area?
Well, you know what I've noticed? Most people that come here, they may complain, but they end up loving it because you got good restaurants, good food. There's so many different places that you would probably want to do a good tour of the Dallas-Fort Worth and the surrounding areas to see what fits best for you. I always tell people, okay, this is what you're telling me you want. This is the price point you're telling me that you want to be in. These are the areas that I consider you to look at because, like I said earlier, the closer you get to downtown Dallas, the closer you get to downtown Fort Worth, the more expensive things are. So if you're looking for something that's affordable, more than likely you're going to have to go further out. The job market, I think, is pretty good here. I don't think we have a high unemployment rate or anything. Now, don't quote me on that, but I really don't think so because everywhere I go, they're hiring. Doctor's offices, restaurants, post office, everybody's hiring around here. Look at what it has to offer as far as a job and the kind of wages that you need to earn. And then you just got to kind of spend a couple of days here and see which area of town because there's so much to choose from. Dallas Fort Worth area is huge and the surrounding areas. Dallas Fort Worth, Houston, that's a lot. It's the landscape is humongous. So what some people like about some area towns, other people don't. So the first thing I would do is to talk to my agent, tell them what you're looking for, what are the needs that you have, what do you need to be close to, or if you don't like living close to people. I have to sit down and get all that from a person. Then I can kind of figure out where they may be comfortable at. That is going to have the properties and the price point that they're looking for.
You mentioned a whole list of towns outside of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area.
I can go on and on. It's so many. Now, a lot of times, now I'm going to tell you this, when you get a lot of people, because Dallas is full of people that's not from here. Very few people that you meet here are actually from here. So you're going to get a lot of people, oh, don't go south. Oh, don't, but that's not true. That's what they were told once upon a time. But South actually offers you a lot because you can have the same identical house out north, and then you'll have it out here, and it may be $150,000 less. And the neighborhoods may be even better looking. So I just, people have to get where they're comfortable at, but I would definitely spend a couple of days going, searching all around the area to see what fits best for them.
Do you have one or two towns that are your favorites?
I actually like over here where I live. I love Mansfield, South Grand Prairie area. But we got the booming Midlothian. We got the booming, and let me stop there. But Mansfield, a lot of people love Mansfield. It's right here close to Arlington as well. So, where the Cowboys Stadium and all that, that's just right down the freeway from where I live. So I consider where I live has access to many other cities. But booming right now is Midlothian, Waxahachie, Ferris, Ennis, Rockwall, Forney, Crandall. There's just so many surrounding areas. I could go on and on about the little different towns that you never used to hear of, but now that you hear about them all the time. We have an area, it's kind of northwest of Fort Worth called Godley. And man, that little area is booming right now. And a couple of years ago, you never heard of it.
So, Letitia, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
My business line is 469-441-0153. My website is LetitiaWilkersonRealestate.com. And email address is letitia.wilkerson@exprealty.com.
All right, Letitia Wilkerson Real Estate. We thank you so much for your insights. We thank you for spending time with us.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
For Let's Move to Texas, I'm Mark Erickson.